Hello and welcome to the most hated show on the black corner of the internet. This is your host, the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and this is Black MINDZ News. Today's date is July 23rd, 2019, and this show, Black MINDZ News, is to report, articulate, transmit, communicate, relate, unveil, decode, spread the news, whether it's by news, video, websites, or quotes from publications. As I articulate these information, I ask that the creator of the universe be here, heart, soul, mind, and spirit. Because why? The truth don't need no partner. As a descendant of the greatest people who created this land that you call the United States, we, the children, the historical bloodline, the DNA, the historical history, what they call the foundational blacks of this land, the BADOS, the Black American Descendant of the Slaves, the ADOS, American Descendant of the Slaves, we, those descendants, give honor to our ancestors. And you know what my motto is? I'm never gonna tell you what I heard. I'm only gonna tell you what I know. Well, I think everybody already done seen this, but again, I didn't get a chance to do it because I was tired of doing other things. So I got to do it. We're gonna have to go back over to Ohio. Something strange took place. What happens when you see a supposedly comrade, one of rank higher versus the other one who is kind of a toy cop, coming to establishment where he has jurisdiction? What ended up happening? Well, stay tuned for this broadcast. Hey, how's y'all doing? This is your host, Mr. Blows Your Minds. And first and foremost, want to say what's good to my subscribers in the house, old and new. Welcome to another Black MINDZ News broadcast. Passerbys, if you should happen to fall and stumble across the most hated show on the black corner of the internet, is hidden, tucked away, still subscribers. Make sure the numbers don't get reached out. Have you ever noticed a show that can't get past 100 and yet you can see I got over almost 3,000? I've been stuck on 3,000 or 2,900 subscribers for over a year or so. Yet people come on and you see I come on as frequent as I do, but they want you to think there ain't nobody watching it. You understand? But that's just the hate. And again, that's why we keep reporting this kind of thing. And welcome to the most hated show on the black corner of the internet. Now let's get into this. No need to talk no more about that, right? It's always going to be what it is, right? So again, we're going to go over to Ohio. I'm pretty sure many of y'all probably already seen it, but again, we didn't do the show over here because we're doing so much of other things. So I want you to see this first, and then we'll come back and talk about it because again, it is what it is, right? So check this, I'll be right back.
Terrifying moment at the IRS office. A taxpayer comes in to do some business and is confronted by the security guard who pulls his gun. But the taxpayer has a gun too because he's in uniform for his job as a deputy sheriff. Les Trent tells you what happened next.
A sheriff's deputy stops by the IRS with a routine question about his taxes. He has no idea the terrifying standoff that's about to erupt. A security guard tells him he has to remove his gun. The deputy says he can't do that and walks away. That's when the guard pulls his weapon and aims it right at the deputy.
I'm thinking, wow, this man's going to shoot me in my back because I could hear the anger in his voice.
An urgent call was placed to 911, but there's not one word that the guy they were concerned about was a deputy.
We got a taxpayer at the IRS office that has a gun and he won't leave the premises. I work at the IRS. I'm an IRS employee.
What's he doing?
He's got a gun and he won't leave.
The deputy, Alan Gaston, does try to leave, but the guard blocks the elevator door.
I asked him about 5 or 6 times, just move your foot so I can go. Nope, you're not going anywhere.
Imagine their surprise when the Toledo, Ohio Police Department got there and realized the allegedly dangerous intruder was their colleague from the county sheriff's department. What happened when the police showed up?
The police were extremely confused. They did ask him, you do know he is a full-time deputy sheriff? And he said yes.
The tables were turned. Instead of the deputy being charged, the security guard was arrested for aggravated menacing. Deputy Gaston still can't believe what happened.
We're supposed to be on the same team.
The security guard has pled not guilty to the menacing charge. The deputy and his wife have filed a civil suit against the guard and the security companies that employ him.
All right. Right? Boy, I tell you, I mean, people want to deny it, but it's so prevalent that it's just, how do you defend it, right? So again, we see a white security guard pulls his gun on a black police officer who's in full uniform. Why? Because he said, you got a gun. You need to check your gun with me. You know what I'm saying? And so again, oh man, I don't know, man. Like I've been saying on this show, man, I've been saying it for some period of time, right? That, you know, my term is itching for a scratch. Can you imagine that? Here is this security guard, and he sees this. He see a full dress, uniform sheriff. He is sheriff. See, if y'all don't think the depthness of the hatred of people towards you, and if you think that your credentials mean anything, this here is a prime example of it don't matter about what you think you is, it's how they perceive you as. Now again, this is an Ohio security guard, and he's been charged with aggravated menacing, right? After supposedly, we all seen the photo, right, of him pulling the gun on the sheriff, right? This was a deputy sheriff of the regional office, right? And again, he was coming down to the IRS due to the simple fact he got a letter. He had some questions about some things again, but again, this is in Lucas County. His name was Alan Gaston. And as we all just seen, he was in full uniform with badge, gun, visible, and everything, right? Again, he goes down to the IRS building, down there by 4 Seagate, Toledo. And he was still on duty. He had just stopped in the building. This was back about like May 31st. Accordingly, he had got a phone call about a letter he had received from the IRS. And when he arrived, the security guard name is Seth Eklund, right? Seth Eklund. Now, he's the guard that you seen there, the white dude in there. He told Gaston that he had to put his gun in his car. Now, accordingly, the sheriff was like, man, wait, hold on, man. I'm Gaston. And he said he couldn't do that. And the conversation escalated until Gaston found himself facing down the end of Eklund's revolver, as it said, right? Now, again, the deputy, he actually is a defense tactic instructor. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of like put his profession to the test. Now, he's the dude that trained deputy sheriffs how to be defensive in certain situations. He's a tactic instructor, right? So as we seen there, he was implying the psychological aspect about it. The best way to escalate this situation, he felt, was just to walk away. He just didn't believe that Eklund had it in him to go ahead and pull the trigger, right? You know what I'm saying? Remember that movie called Revolver? Man, anybody seen the movie Revolver? Fear me, and he do this walk past, fear me, right? Like he went in there, right? That's what the tactic he used, psychological. Because he said, this dude, I don't think he about that life, right? But that was really, when you look at it, That was a very dangerous situation to be in, because if a motherfucker like that can pull a gun on a full-fledged uniformed sheriff, and yet all he seen was your blackness, none of that mattered, right? And you know, some people gonna say he broke the law. He was not going again. He did not comply. All he had to do was put his gun away. All right. Well, okay. Let's just say it this way: if there's a hierarchy, as into being a officer, who is the highest? Who has rank and file? Does the security guard, who's hired? Because basically, let's put it to you like this: do you know lawfully? The only ones that actually, according to how the Constitution and laws go, the sheriff is really the only one that is really have policing powers. Let's get that straight, right? And I think it's in that what is that? Those laws. What is them? Can't think of that off the top of my head. But that's allowed police officers being allowed. They're nothing but really security guards who've been deputized, infused with a power. That's why they're abusing so much of the shit, right? So you got 3 tiers. You got sheriff, police officers, and then you got the security guard. And that's why most security guards usually didn't used to have a gun, right? They used to just have walkie-talkies. They could just call them up, break on that, that motherfucker stealing and shit. He could do some shit like that. But he ain't had it. So now here it is. You get Barney Fife from Andy Griffin, got a gun, and look what he going to do. Now, again, the psychology of a lot of, man, it's just so prevalent. Now, this is security guard. Now, when you out there as a police officer, it's a whole nother game. Now, this one here, he was itching. You know what I'm saying? He was itching. He was just trying to find some way to justify it in his mind, right? He was finding, he was seeking, and he was going to trail you. He'd already had it out, pointed at you. He was ready to do, right? And so you see, as Gaston was going towards the elevator, he had the gun pointed at the back of Gaston's head. And his fingers was very close to the trigger. Now, his hand was on the trigger. He wasn't no close to it. So, what he was doing, Gaston said in himself, again, as a defense instructor, he said, well, I'm going to prepare myself for impact. Brace for impact, right? I don't know how you do that. Because, if he's shooting a headshot, ain't all the bracing in the world ain't going to help you on that situation, right? So I guess you just assuming he's going to shoot you in the back. He yellow anyway, right? As they say, him yellow, right? So, you know what I'm saying? So he decided he's going to be there. So Eklund, who's about 33 years old, he blocks the elevator door from closing and tells Gaston, he's trying to take him into custody. He says, there's no way to know how you're going to act when there's a gun pointed at you and when you think you're going to lose your life. This is what Gaston, the deputy, said. Now, normally he's in the situation pointing his gun at you when it's appropriate. And again, there's situations where, something's already in progress and you have to get in it. But in this case here, this was a situation that, he was coming to handle some business. That had nothing to do with anything about policing. This was just some private business. Let me go on here while I'm here. And last thing you would be thinking that a security officer would be approaching you, right? But Eklund been itching. You know what I'm saying? He got a gun, come home every day. How's work, dear? His wife told him, how's work, dear? It's the same old thing every day. Nothing in there. Just coming in there, people. Getting audited and on it. You're going to get it. Don't worry. You're going to get your chance. Dream every day. I wish you can get a chance like that. Right? He been itching. He been dreaming because he can't make it to be a cop. He either can't pass the written test. He not, capable to do the physical. So again, he got to take the third consolation prize. He take the bronze medal, right? You got gold where the sheriff is, silver being the police officer, and bronze being security. Now again, it's not to look down, and then again, you got to pay the bills. You got to do what you got to do. But again, we're talking about the situation here, right? So now the funny part, which wasn't funny at the time it was happening, But did you see the collusion? Right? It was a collusion in this situation. Did anybody peep it? Was I the only one that seen that? Or did you hear it? Oh, we didn't see him, but we did hear him. Right? So what we hear is what? You hear the telephone call between the Toledo police being called by one of the employees inside there, calling the 911, right? And you hear the caller on the phone says repeatedly that I have somebody here at the IRS and he has a gun. Never once did he mention that he's a sheriff. Now, wait a minute. Eklund, right? Now, Eklund is the sheriff, right? I mean, not the sheriff. Gaston is the sheriff. Seth Eklund is a security guard. But who is the employee on the damn telephone? He's just as guilty as anything. He's the one that called 911. You know what I'm saying? He's the one. Okay, now, Seth already got some psychological problems. You understand? It's pure racist. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. You ain't gonna sit here and tell me you see a full uniform ass sheriff and you talking about pulling your gun on him. And there's no threat, so nowhere to be seen in this. And again, this is you having your moment. Again, yeah, deer's been born every day. You know, I don't get to do shit. I just wish you motherfucker would. So I just try this new technique. Cause I got some new bullets, they hollow points and all that. Right? He been itching, and his first victim was gonna be, you know what I'm saying, black sheriff. Ain't that a bitch? Huh? Ain't that something, man? That is wild. It don't get no wilder than this, right? So the individual on the phone is telling, and he's actually saying it twice, and he's trying to put in the mind of the 911 operator that it's like somebody crazy, deranged at the IRS got a gun. So what is that going to do? Make the police come in there all adrenaled up, thinking that the first thing they see, they're going to stop popping, right? Hot rocks flying everywhere. Duck everybody, they shooting, right? So, you know what I'm saying? But when the police get there, right, they looking, they see Seth over there in uniform. They see this other dude here, he got a uniform on. Where the problem is? Who calling on who? Right? Who calling on who? Oh, y'all calling on this dude here? Wait a minute. Don't you see this dude in full uniform? Yeah, but what? That motherfucker, they supposed to put that motherfucker in the straight jacket, throw his ass in the back of the motherfucking paddock wagon, take his ass down to the motherfucking padded room and get this nigga some motherfucking medication. Because ain't nothing sane about nothing he just did. There's no rationale in nothing he did other than the fact that, again, he can't do what this one do. And you know how the old saying is, this nigga is better than me. I don't believe, you know what I'm saying? The hate, the jealousy, everything was right there. Yes, somebody might say, well, you know what? He could have just gave the gun. You know what I'm saying? Right, he could have. But you know what I'm saying? I think they don't give up their gun, right? I think they say, this is my hand, this is my gun, this is for fun. You know, the old army thing they never saying, right? He ain't giving up that gun. He said, what did Charles Heston, what y'all, the white Moses said? Out of my cold, dead hands, right? You ain't take this gun unless it's out of my cold, dead hands, right? So that wasn't happening, Captain, right? So anyway, you know what I'm saying? How do you see somebody? And then how is it that this other person who's making the call, he don't even see it either? So this a level of subliminal racism in the psyche of mind of a lot of people who just y'all don't want to admit it. That's why you can get together and get in there and chanting on this thing, take them back, right? Take them back. Let me give you something for this whole thing about I'll talk about it another time. Anyway, but that's just the temperature that's been going on here. The thing, again, like I said, a bottle with the sediment at the bottom. All Trump did is get to the top and shake this bitch up. And all of a sudden now, what do you see? You see everything coming up, right? There ain't no hiding it from it now. So what y'all see now, how y'all going to assess it now? Are you going to say this is a figure of our imagination? This really ain't real? Or just time to say take the cover off or take the sheet off and say, ta-da, like what was it Dave Chappelle did when he said, when these bigums, and he said blackface, right? He took off his hood and all them was sitting there and he was black than a motherfucker, but now, right? So that's basically what's gonna happen here, right? So let's look at this thing here, right? So they said they gonna charge him with, they said aggravated menacing, right? Now, aggravated menacing says that no person shall knowingly cause another to believe that the offender will cause serious physical harm to the person or property of other persons, the other person unborn, or a member of the other person's immediate family. In addition to other bases for the other person's belief that the offender will cause serious physical harm to the person or property of other persons, the other person's unborn, or a member of other person's immediate family, the other person belief may be based on words or conduct of the offenders that are direct or identify a corporation, association, or other organizations that employ the other persons or to which the other person belongs. B says whoever violates this section is guilty of aggravated menacing, except as otherwise provided in this division. Aggravated menacing is a misdemeanor of the first degree if the victim of the offense is an officer or employee of a public children's service agency or a private child placement agency, and the offense relates to the officer or employee's performance or anticipated performance of official responsibility or duties. Aggravated menacing is a felony of the fifth degree, or if the offender previously had been convicted or pleaded guilty to an offense of violations or violence, the victim of that prior offense was an officer or employee of public children's services agencies or private child placement agencies, and that prior offense relates to the officer's employee's performance or anticipated performance of officer official responsibilities or duties. Felony of the fourth degree. Now, again, sound like to me talking more about like with a child, something like a, what they call them, like they come to your house, the child welfare, right? In that kind of capacity. What did that have? Okay, I got the part where it talked about corporations, associations, right? So they penalizing you for, wait a minute, this is family, right? You in the family of what would be deemed as, let's say, officers, right? Now, again, this is your superior. You know this, right? You're menacing to somebody that you see fully clothed, fully in gear, fully shielded up, right? Suited and booted. And your ass act as if you didn't see it, right? So the brother, I'm pretty sure Alec Gaston knows what this really is, but again, he don't want to be on the force, knowing that this is the kind of thing that he has to kind of, propagate, because then it puts him in a dangerous situation to know he gets set up or, you never know. So he has to play it kind of cool, and we're going to play it with this way. But again, my man ain't fit mentally in no capacity to be having any firearm, because he can't even make the assessment of a situation, something that is obviously to be identified, right? It's obvious. And yet, we sitting here able to see a situation. So what happens if that wasn't a man in uniform? What if it's just a black man, period? But I don't think a black man would just came to the damn IRS with a gun, right? But hypothetically saying, it's possible, right? But again, it just get to show you the reason, the inside of how individuals are looking at things these days, right? People got a lot of animosity and hatred and things that is bubble up inside of them, and if they get the opportunity, they are going to lash out. Yet, the people that keep seeing this over and over again, because again, we all seeing eye is revealing everything, and so there's nowhere to hide anymore. And so the constant Preponderance of these videos on a daily basis is just showing the telltale signs of what you want to keep trying to deny, say we're not, but it's just obvious there. But you would try to use the reverse psychology and try to say, no, you're the problem. No. The problem has to be when you go in the bathroom, brush your teeth and wash your face, look at yourself good and ask yourself honestly, what is your issue with these people? Well, just wanted to bring that, y'all, because I'm already about a week late on it. But it is what it is. You tell me what you think. You said, I think, give me some comments, right? And tell me what you think about it, because, again, it is what it is, right? It's just obvious, but, again, you know, we're not supposed to act like we're supposed to act as if this is just an individual. But, again, if we was to stack up every story, now we're not talking about when it's legitimate. We're not talking about criminals and we're not talking about that. So if anybody's like, no, we're talking about if you take these incidents of innocent people and stack them up versus and then see who is the culprit and who is the victim, you're not gonna like what you see. Again, this is Black Minds News coming with another broadcast. And you know, before I get up out of here, I have to let you, try to get paid, at least help the channel out a little bit. They're suppressing the shit out of me. Man, I'm getting subscribers, man, but the number won't change. People are saying that they're hitting the like button and the like button won't, you can't like the video, right? The videos are out. I'm doing them early in the morning, and yet still you talking about 29 and 30 videos. You telling me you not intentionally, you want to tell me some Mr. Magical, it's the algorithm. But there's a motherfucker behind the curtain though too, right? But I guess I ain't supposed to know that, right? But anyway, black folks, stay black, peace, love, and all that good stuff. Until my next show, right? Probably coming soon to you. There's a peace, love, and hair grease and all that. And before we get up out of here, let me go ahead and show this. And then, to the next show, y'all. It's all good, love, and all that.
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Luther and I and everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners when somebody disrespects our flag. They say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on, and it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good news, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news for the wolf.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saying 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu. All white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the sixth version.
5 months before me. 3, 4. There are only 2 possible explanations. There were 5 months before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to fucking kill you! You can't make me do anything like my friend!
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptist. We're not brutalized because we're Methodist. We're not brutalized because we're Muslim.
We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga, and if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true. I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American, or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, Brother Greg, you coming by today? And I said, Malcolm, I love you. And I said, I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there. He said, what do you mean, Brother Greg? I said, well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East. And I said, but I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary, booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm going to go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm going to stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not going to let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm going to call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government is going to get you.